Hey interwebs, I'm commercial photographer Tony Roslund. We're back again today in the studio. I'm going to share with you 4 tips for studio organization. All right, so 4 tips for studio organization. These are just things that I do around the studio that help me stay efficient when I'm working on set. Hopefully you can incorporate some of these into your studio, or maybe you have ideas that you can share with me. Let's start out with numero uno. First one is Pegboard. I use Pegboard to organize all my grip equipment. This is a fairly small piece that I have here. I've had previous studios where I actually had 30, 40 foot walls just covered in this stuff. I had stands and all kinds of things hanging on them, but essentially what happens is I fur out the pegboard with just little 1x2s from any hardware store, and then I'll screw the pegboard to the 1x2s. I'll paint it black just so that it's not bouncing around unwanted light, and then I get the hooks, all these different size hooks and arrangements of hooks that you can hang on to the pegboard and put all of your grip equipment. You could put stands, you can hang flags or reflectors. I used to have all of my pro photo heads hanging on these. I mean, you can, it's infinite, but it's a great organizational tool. I use it all the time. I've got little buckets that I can put smaller stuff into, so works great. That's number 1. Here's a little bonus since we're here at the grip wall. This is what's called a baby plate, and it's basically just a flat metal plate with a 5/8 pin coming off the back. I use a lot of different bounce cards when I'm on set. Most of the time, if it's tabletop stuff, I can stand them up with just an A-clamp on the table. But if I'm trying to bounce light into a bigger product or even a person, then what I'll do is gaff tape one of these baby plates on the back of a piece of foam core, any size foam core. I can put that into a grip head, and then I can adjust that at whatever angle I need to bounce the light back into my subject. And it's a super cheap way. These baby plates are about 15 bucks. You can get them at any photo supply house. Again, it's just a metal plate with a 5/8 pin that I gaff tape onto the back of a piece of foam core. Super easy, cheap. Little tip I thought I'd share since we're here at the grip wall. Tip number 2, it is a accordion folder. I use this for organizing my gels. Yes, they make jelly rolls and things like that you can use to put all of your gels into. They cost money. This costs like $1 at any office supply store. It's just an accordion folder, and inside I have all my different 12s, my 12x12s that go onto my strobe heads. And then in the back here I have some larger pieces that go on my beauty dishes. But you can organize them by strength or by color or whatever works for you. Super cheap and easy. It's just the right size, and that's how I keep all of my gels organized. All right, number 3 is a rolling tethered shooting station. It's basically my workstation when I'm tethered in the studio. If you're shooting in the studio, you're probably tethered too, so you're going to some sort of a cart or a laptop stand or whatever. In my case, I'm shooting into a computer here with all my drives and stuff attached to it. But what's nice is when I have this here on set, I've got my gaff tape and various tapes in a drawer. I've got a drawer for all of my acrylic ice cubes and things. I have pocket wizards, we have rags, we have scissors and tools and all kinds of stuff in these drawers, stuff that I might need on set. It just makes it easier without having to walk off set all the time to have it all here. The other thing that I have on this is an UPS device, which is basically a backup battery. It's intended for when the power goes out, it can continue to run my system and won't damage anything by having the power yanked when the power goes out. But it's nice on your tethered cart, especially if you're going to be rolling around the studio, because I can unplug the power and I can roll this cart to another part of the studio. All of my computers and devices and everything will continue to work off of that backup battery while it's mobile or in transit to the next location. I can plug it back in and I never miss a beat, so I don't have to shut everything down and disconnect drives and all that stuff just to move it, you know, to the other side of the studio. So the other part of this is a grip cart. So these are the 2 things that are always on set with me. And this is just a 3-tiered cart. In the top I have various tacky waxes and glues and tapes and risers and things like that, along with all different size clamps. The second shelf is bounce cards. I got black and white and gold and silver and all the different bounce cards on the second shelf. And then the bottom shelf is all my liquids and solvents, cleaners, glycerin, nail polish remover, you name it. Anything that I might use on set is on this cart or in these drawers. You saw my grip wall, and that's all the grip equipment. This is all the other small stuff that I need when I'm on set. So that's number 3. All right, number 4, final number 4 here, background paper storage. This is for all your seamless paper. That stuff's unruly. It unrolls, it's all over the studio. You're trying to figure out a place leaning it up against walls, whatever. It gets creased, it gets torn, it gets beaten up. My buddy Rob Grimm showed me this technique, and I thought this was fantastic, so I immediately incorporated it into my studio storage practices here. Basically, you put a board and mount it to your ceiling with eye hooks in it. You tie some rope to it, get some wooden dowels, chop them up, run some rope through it, tie a knot in the bottom. You can run this down through your seamless paper. It comes out at the bottom and your seamless paper can rest on that. You can get a lot of seamless in a very small space. Plus it kind of looks cool, you know? So again, Rob Grimm has that over on his YouTube page. It's RGG Photo. So if you want to know how to make this thing, go check it out. Really, really cool. One of my favorite studio storage techniques. So that's about it. I'd love to see any techniques for storage or organization that you guys have for your studio spaces. Throw them down in the comments and share them with the rest of the world. Our Instagram handle is Tony Roslund, so if you want to tag us there to show us something, that's a great way to do it as well. And if you haven't already checked it out, be sure to jump over to rggedu.com and check out my 20+ hour tutorial on product photography. That's it, I'm out.